Black History Month is officially in full swing, and thanks to that, we want to highlight some of the under-recognized artists, albums, and scenes within the spectrum. And since Black people are so deeply foundational to guitar music on the whole, we thought no better place to start than here. That said, this is BLIGATORY's 10 favorite current Black, indie, and hardcore bands. Quick disclaimer though, you're going to hear us throw around a lot of subgenres that mostly fit the indie and hardcore umbrella. There will be some exceptions, of course. They're also not all independent bands. Some are on bigger labels. These are some of the bands that we love and we think you'll enjoy, but are by no means the only ones worth highlighting. So comment your favorites if we missed them here. Now, kicking things off at number 10 with a band that is very much on the hardcore side of things, Soulglow is an absolutely ferocious unit that mixes hardcore punk with primarily noise rock and rap rock. They've been active for a while, since around 2014, but are quickly amplifying thanks to their biggest, baddest album release yet, titled Diaspora Problems. Now that's a name that says it all. These guys hail from Philly and are absolutely unrelenting in their aggression, keeping things about as hardcore gets. Every track is a cascading fireball of anxious frustration, rage, and mayhem. And not every band on this list is like this, but Pierce Jordan can seriously kick some scathing lyrics that poignantly take the world to task on counts of racism, brutality, and the general suffering of Black people. Given the state of the world in the first half of the 2020s, Soulglow immediately registers as one of the most essential and radical acts of the decade thus far. If you're feeling fed up, if you enjoy the pure catharsis of a speedy, bad brainsy, manic, hardcore punk sound, look literally no further than Soulglow. Next up at number 9, we take a brief detour here. Mdu Mokhtar, while a non-American band and not really indie or hardcore, does feel at home in this list we've made, and they've come out with some of the most world-class psych rock in recent years. Now, to understand Mdu Mokhtar, at least on some level, you should understand Tishoumaren music and the Tuareg people. Tishoumaren, known internationally as desert blues or Tuareg rock, is a type of psychedelic rock popular throughout the Saharan regions of Africa. Tuareg is a larger ethnic group within Berber peoples, and Mdu Mokhtar is from Niger, which is a prominent region in this genre's history. Mokhtar initially began releasing albums as a solo artist, and he's since assembled a band. They've released some great albums through Matador Records. If you're new to this band, check out their most recent album, 2021's Afrique Victime. It got rave reviews for the high-level guitar play and warm, uplifting embrace it lends to the listener's ear. The psychedelic edge to this thing can be pretty electrifying and fun. It shares some great qualities with the fuzzy guitar music of the 1970s, with rhythm and percussion to match their North African, Middle Eastern roots. They're pretty well on the map for Western listeners, but we'd argue they deserve even more, way more exposure moving forward. At number 8 is Mafa. Mafa is an underground hardcore outfit that we're pretty excited to hopefully put you onto. Their debut album, Because We Are, is hella tough. The instrument play is sharp and rich with a wide variety of influences at play, and by the end of this thing, you'll have heard sounds from Brazil to Cuba, Latin and North America, with bits and pieces of reggae, samba, jazz. It's a very rich melting pot of potent sounds, but it definitely balances the experience very well overall. Now, the Swahili word Mafa is a word meaning disaster and is coined in Pan-Africanist teachings to reference the atrocities of various African slave trades, their histories, and the ongoing effects they have on African people. Here's a statement directly from the group. Mafa seeks to expand the sound of hardcore punk by infusing into their music the rhythms and percussive instrumentation found throughout the African diaspora. And if you like a bit of, again, that bad brainsy chaos, maybe some groovy percussion and dynamic presentation, we definitely recommend Mafa. Now, at number 7, we're cooling things off a bit here with Hannah Jadagu. Hannah Jadagu is originally from Texas and recently relocated to New York City. Her sound is a bit of indie rock bordering on dream pop, but whichever capacity you find her in, she maintains a very liminal, spacey atmosphere that her fans have rabidly adored since the days of even her independent releases. Now, as a sub-pop artist with a debut EP and a debut album out, she's established herself as one of the brightest up-and-coming stars in today's indie scene. Now, she pulls from a number of genres, pulsating post-punk, sultry slowcore, and a bedroomy baroque pop on top of what we already mentioned. Some of it hits a little harder, some a little sweeter, often making for a diary of tales, tirades, and confessions that also make for great songs. This is one of the softer entries on the list, but we recommend it all the same depending on what you're into. Number 6 is Oceanator, a band revolving around multi-instrumentalist Elise Okusami, currently releasing their projects through Polyvinyl Records. Oceanator is known to deliver a grungy but zestful blend of indie rock with power pop, and Okusami's lyrics are generally very coming of age and sometimes hyperbolically catastrophic. In both album releases thus far, the band wears its emotions proudly on their sleeves in a quirky, introspective sort of way. We think you'll like Oceanator if you're into the new albums of Jeff Rosenstock or Cheek Face, since she's toured separately with both of them in recent years. At number 5, we have the, quote, best band since Oasis. This is the earliest tagline used by Enumclaw. Enumclaw is a band that hails from the Pacific Northwest, Tacoma, Washington specifically, and are one of the most exciting young bands from a region historically renowned for their impact on punk and indie music worldwide. Now, of course, we all know about Seattle grunge or Jimi Hendrix, but what about Olympia's feminist riot girl scene of the 90s, or even Sub Pop as a record label? A lot of music history has passed through Washington State, and for that reason, a band like Enumclaw has a rich ground of influences to pull from. Their subject matter ranges from hardships and relationships to coming of age as Black people in a region and in a musical genre designed to exclude them in many ways. We recommend these guys on the strength of their emotive, catchy, and melodic tunes. In particular, we think their 2021 demo and 2022 debut album serve as a really nice 1-2 punch. And at number 4, we got Bartees Strange, based in Washington, D.C., but originally from Mustang, Oklahoma. Bartees has a few records under his belt now, with the most recent, Farm to Table, releasing through 4AD. This recommendation goes for those looking for a moodier medley of indie rock and indie pop, especially if you don't mind a few forays into alternative R&B. Bartees' earlier work, like Live Forever, released in 2020, mixes a range of nuanced rock subgenres and is a little bit more genre-specific in that regard. If you want to get into comparisons, I think fans of Kevin Abstract could really enjoy his work. He's also done a lot of touring in the last few years, supporting Boy Genius, Courtney Barnett, Car Seat Headrest, and other stars. He's also done some notable remixes for Glass Beach, Paramore, and others as well. Landing in the top 3 is Genesis Owusu, a Ghanaian-Australian solo act best known for his 2021 debut, Smiling with No Teeth, where he sort of splashed onto the scene with this album. His sound has gradually ventured from eclectic neo-soul to more funk punk in the time leading up to Owusu's sophomore album, Struggler. Owusu is a guy that is comfortable rapping, singing, or shouting over whatever is behind him. He can shift from synth-driven rhythms to subdued or even seductive bass lines. Whether the beat calls for a smooth romance or sharp social commentary, Owusu can deliver and dazzle with showmanship and vibrance in every performance. We recommend him for the variety of things that he offers, but if you like neo-soul and R&B stuff, we recommend Smiling with No Teeth. If you want some of that, but with a lot more variance, we say try Struggler, but they both contain some amazing moments. Next at number 2, we have one of my favorite artists in Yves Tumor. Yves is definitely one of the most established and recognizable acts on this list, now with 5 studio album releases under their belt in the last 9 years. Now, in that time, we've seen their sound venture from experimental pop and sound collage in the early years to today's blend of electronic, post-punk, and neo-psychedelia. I really appreciate an artist that finds ways to be creatively catchy, captivating, and fun. And Yves Tumor always seems to strike that exact balance. 2020's Heaven to a Tortured Mind was easily one of the best albums from that year. It's explosive and exciting, flowing with passion and melodrama, posting one great track after another for 36 minutes. More recently, 2021's Asymptotical World EP and 2023's Hot Between Worlds were also stellar follow-ups. Given the range of experience Yves has in such a variety of sounds, combined with their compelling visual art, they are truly in a league of their own in my eyes, and though they stand alone, they still fit nicely among the ideology and the spirit that inspires a lot of the music on this list, so we had to make sure that we mentioned it here. And finally, at number 1 is Zulu. Zulu is the hardcore brainchild of Anaya Lee, initially as a LA-based solo act for the release of 2020's My People Hold On, and in the years since, the group has fully fleshed out with Des Yusuf, Braxton Marcellus, and Satchel Brown joining the program on the road to releasing the group's debut album, A New Tomorrow. Zulu makes a West Coast offshoot of hardcore punk called Powerviolence, characterized by its sludgy, noisy takes on thrashcore, coupled with their headstrong pro-black songwriting they call what they make Black Power Violence. And that name fits because while the narratives of a lot of these songs address the evils that they're up against, a la A Soul Glow, it's also absolutely life-affirming and celebratory of its ideas and influences. One moment, they're doing something sludgy and nasty. The next, they're splicing in some Curtis Mayfield, maybe some SZA. A couple of us here at Obligatory saw them open for Show Me the Body along with Scowl and Jesus Peace, and they rock. They're not tough guys, they're not assholes, they like to dance, and man, did they have gravitas on that stage. Now, they do have a bit of that outsider, chip on their shoulder attitude, but despite race still being an issue in the hardcore scene, that debut is a rather genuine love letter to its potential as a genre. And for that level of intensity that they bring, they keep strong rhythms, and they vary tempos often. That, in combination with the shorter song lengths of A New Tomorrow, makes the 30-minute runtime absolutely fly right by for me. Now, we've covered a lot of great and really innovative music with this list, but something about Zulu feels right to put at number 1 to highlight for what this list represents. Really quick, we got a few bonuses for you, the first being Jesus Piece. This band is a heavy, hardcore, metalcore type, fronted by lead vocalist Aaron Hurd. They released their debut on Southern Lord in 2018 and wouldn't release another until last year's So Unknown. These records are very aggressive and cathartic, definitely on the heaviest end of the stuff we've mentioned in this video, so check it out if you're feeling nasty. Special Interest is another group outputting a highly energetic and maybe even manic product at times. These folks are a little bit more on the dance and synth punk side of things, dabbling in some no wave and some post punk as well. Both their debut and sophomore records are strong genre blenders with some pop sensibilities in the songwriting that really elevate the fun factor of things. Then we've got Atlanta's Upchuck, who forges an energetic and emotive take on garage punk. They've got a classic feel to what they do, but also sound appropriately youthful and ripe with vigor. Their 2023 album, Bite the Hand That Feeds, was one that a few of us in BLIGATORY really enjoyed. It was partially produced by Ty Segall, and we found it to be one of the more under-the-radar solid releases of the year. And last but not least, Buggin', a Chicago-based hardcore band led by non-binary lead vocalist Brianna Bennett. So far, they've hit with a 2019 demo, a 2020 EP, and a 2023 debut album titled Concrete Cowboys. They're another heavy type that brings the heat but doesn't forget to make things catchy. I also love their graffiti-style visual art and how it pairs with the sound and aesthetic they put forth in their music. And that is our list of Black current indie and hardcore bands that we love, that we think are making Black history right now. And of course, we could not cover everything on this list. There are some stuff that we were sad to not include. So let us know down in the comment section if your favorite band or artist didn't really make the cut here, not just for us, but as a recommendation to those watching this video. We're going to be doing some more Black history and music content throughout the month, so if you want to keep up with that. And we also do a weekly music news video every Friday, so that'll be coming soon after this one. Thanks again for tapping in with us, and we'll be back again soon with another video, so we'll see you then, right here on BLIGATORY.